I don't think it caught that. I don't think we're live until after you said that.
Like, that's a first.
I know, we didn't get that one. Alright. We are talking about The Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barbery, because I am an American and cannot pronounce things with a French accent. Initial thoughts? What is that face, Meryl?
I mean, I'm not quite done, mostly because it's just so arduous. Like, I felt like the first 75 pages, I was like, I don't know what that word means, but I feel like you're saying I should know what that word means. And I don't want to look up every third word. I just don't want to deal with this. This is really annoying and pretentious, and I hate reading it. And then I had no idea what was going on for, like, the longest time until I just was like, fine, I'm just going to Wikipedia what's going on because I'm halfway through this, and I have no idea what's going on.
So have you gotten to the dry cleaner's van?
I don't know. See, the thing is, like...
So how far are you? Like, put the bookmark in your book and hold it up.
I have this much left. So, like...
No, she hasn't gotten there yet.
Like, the thing is, like, I understand it now. It just took me too long to care. That I just, like, don't really care.
Is this supposed to be? Oh, it is supposed to be satire.
Is it? It's so weird.
Yeah. Well, it says one of the Washington Post, blurb on the back says the intelligent Muriel Barbery has served readers well by giving us the gently satirical, exceptionally winning, and inevitably bittersweet elegance of the Hedgehog. I was pissed at the end.
You can spoil it. I've already read the spoilers.
Okay. So you know what happens with the van.
Yeah.
Okay. I felt the same way you did at the beginning. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what the point is. I had to go get the audiobook because, seriously, It took me 2 weeks just to get started.
I downloaded the audiobook last night because I was, like, not even halfway. And I was like, and then even listening to the audiobook, I started reading it with the audiobook. And I was like,
I do that all the time.
Now I get it. I was like, now I can kind of follow this. But it took me way too long to get to that point.
I think because of like all the French pronunciations and things, if I hadn't been reading along with the audiobook most of the time that I was listening to the audiobook, I would have had no clue when I went back to the book.
Yeah.
Like the Arton or something, that family.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything about France or French or anything. A semester in 7th grade, that's all I had. But
I read this. Oh, go ahead.
No. I mean, that's pretty much it.
I read this for my other book club a year ago, and yeah, I did not enjoy it, and I was like, I'm not even going to bother rereading it this time, because it was just a weird book, and yeah.
I just don't
didn't understand.
I don't understand why it's so, like, acclaimed. Like, is it just that people want to sound smart, so they say that they like it? Is it, like, saying, like, my favorite book in all of the world is the Canterbury Tales, and I'm going to ignore that actually has historical significance for this comparison?
Canterbury Tales. Wanderar with the shore sota, the rocks march and pass until the road. And that's the only thing I remember from the Canterbury Tales.
I'm just saying, like, it's like saying your favorite book is, like, a really difficult book to read that, like, doesn't really have a huge plot line.
Yeah, that's why, when I was talking about my book club last year and how I was like, oh, I don't think people are going to like this book, and then the girl who nominated it was like, it's my favorite book ever, I love it so much, but, like, didn't even say why, and then everyone else was like, it was great, and I was like, you guys, there's nothing
to... It was hard to read.
Yeah.
So hard to read.
I just felt like the whole time I was reading it, and I was like, I feel like the person who wrote this just wants to tell me all these little thoughts that she has about the world, and they don't really cohesively go together, so she just threw in these characters to say them and then tried to intertwine them so that it made a story so that she could tell me how smart she is.
That.
I wonder
Yeah,
if it reads different in French, though, you know?
Yeah,
probably.
maybe.
You still have, like, mostly just pages and pages of philosophy and, like, not really a plot, which I think it probably, like, from what I've seen of French film, at least, like, I think the plot is probably very French, and it's like, and then she gets hit by a dry cleaning van and dies and just has all these philosophies about life before she dies, and it's like, what the F just happened? And then the book is over, and you're like, what? This is, yeah, very French.
But the little girl doesn't burn the apartment complex down, so that's good, I guess.
Well, that's because she cares about the Japanese guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wait, there is something to this world that is, like, worth meaning. And I think that's what they were both trying to figure out. It's like, okay, so the meaning of life, more than 42. What is this thing? Yeah, thank you.
I like that book much better.
That book is so rambly. Like, if you read the entire series, he was making it up as he went.
That's okay with me. It was more enjoyable.
Okay, fair enough. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Douglas Adams, and I agree.
Yes, you're correct. He's just like, I'm just going to tell the story until it stops.
Well, no, and that's really. I mean, I was listening to an interview, with when he was talking about how he wrote the radio program, and like, because the radio program came before the book, and it would be like time to record, and it wouldn't be finished yet, and nobody would know what's going to happen. It was brilliant. Anyway, clearly we're not feeling this book if we run off on Douglas Adams tangent.
So,
good.
One thing I really did not understand about this book, why is she so intent on making everyone think that she is, like, the typical kind of stupid, lowbrow concierge or whatever?
Maybe so she's not bothered by other people. She just, like, feels like everyone else is an idiot, so she just doesn't want to be bothered by them or questioned.
Yeah.
That's me guessing, not...
She just goes to such extreme lengths to, like, buy and cook the kinds of foods that she thinks other people will think that she should be eating, and then, like, feed them to her cat or something? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could eat better if I, didn't feed this food to my cat, because I wanted people to think that I am less intelligent than I am. Because, I can't move out of my station in life. I am a concierge, and that is what I have to be. And I can't be friends with people who are of a different class because, well, my sister died when she tried to do it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, weird to me.
Okay, so for, like, the annoyance and everything, there were a lot of really good one-liner thoughts. Where, like, I really liked the little girl character, and I could focus on her chapters more.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that, like, I think I would have enjoyed this a lot more as, like, a collection of short stories than as a novel. Like, I think if it had been a collection of short stories about each of the characters as opposed to, like, one big thing that's supposed to blend together, and I was expecting that as I read it, and I could, like, start it and stop it and, like, have more time to dwell on the individual thoughts, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
More like Olive Kittredge.
Yeah, like Olive Kittredge.
Or even just, like, a book of philosophy. Like,
yeah.
You're just, like, saying all these things she wants to say instead of trying to structure a weird plot around it.
It's kind of how I felt a little bit also about, this is like a weird comparison, but did either of you listen to NPR's Serial?
Yeah.
I didn't, but it's on my list.
I felt like, so I watch like a lot of crime TV and like a lot of like real life law stuff and whatnot. And not like the like cops, but like actual documentaries and stuff about it. And I felt like this book did for people who don't read philosophy what Serial did for people who don't normally explore that genre. Serial was enjoyable, but like people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing," and this is like, I can't believe that this is how the justice system handles this. And I was like, no, like this is just like a million other stories I've heard, and like I thought it was enjoyable, but at the same time I felt like it was kind of designed for people who don't normally explore that, whereas this book felt like it was made into a novel for people who don't normally care or like explore philosophy. And I think that's great for the right person.
Yeah.
But it was almost like
I wasn't the right person. I'm in an action adventure kind of mood.
Oh, and this is really not your kind of book.
No, and I'm reading another book. I'm reading an arc for review for the Assembly on Literature for Adolescents, and I'm like, that's really not what I want to be reading right now either. Alas. I did actually finish it though. How many times?
I'm going to still finish it on audiobook on ×3 speed because it goes faster.
How can you listen to it like that?
I built myself up, so I listen to a lot of podcasts. So I started listening to podcasts at 1.25 and then 1.5. And so long as like the voices don't change to like chipmunks, I can't like, even like now, I can't like sit down and start listening to something at ×2 speed, but I'll like start listening to it at 1.5, and then like a half hour in, I'll switch to 2. And then after like a couple of hours, if I'm still listening, I can switch to 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had a student who did that last year, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm listening to it at like 2x speed," because whoever would come to the device after him would be like, "I can't understand what's going on," but he didn't understand anything he was listening to. I think I would have a problem with that.
I usually do 1.5 to 2 times. I don't usually do 3 times, but this one I was just like, I'm not understanding it anyway. And it was also when I was like reading along with it, so it helped a lot.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think about doing that, because I always tend to, like, when I'm listening to books and reading along, I tend to read ahead, even though there's the audio in my ears, and then I'll, like, stop and one of these things. And so there was a lot of me sitting on the couch.
Yeah. Because ×3 speed is, like, just under what I read silently. So that helps.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Okay. I might have to give that a go.
Yeah. Let me know how that works.
Just to see how it goes. Then I'll put it back in regular speed.
Oh gosh, it's harder when they're accents.
Yeah, I bet. Do we want to discuss any of these questions?
I didn't know.
They're in the chat.
Going over.
Invisibleness.
Oh, wait, go back.
Much has been made of the book's philosophical bent. Yeah, I would think so.
Which one are you looking at? I didn't read them all the way through.
Number 9.
Oh, I haven't gotten that far yet.
I was just skimming.
Oh. Ah, that's exactly what you were saying.
Who thinks that is the most appealing?
The philosophy stuff?
I wish that somebody who liked the book was here and could explain it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, it wasn't the worst thing I'd ever read.
No. I mean,
But I felt like there was like zero plot, and I mean, I like action adventure, yeah, but I also like, plot-driven books
Yeah.
more than I like most character-driven books. So,
I think though, like, I I really do think it was well. I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry.
Bless you. Bless you.
Thanks.
bless you.
I really do think, like, I think if I could have just read, ooh, Hornet, don't do things outside. I think if I could have just read, what's her name, Paloma?
Yeah.
Paloma. I think if I could have just read her chapters, I think I'd have enjoyed it a lot more.
She was a lot more as a character. She was a lot more interesting. I mean, the whole idea of being bored and of like tempering your intelligence so that you don't have to. It's more of an exertion than one might think, and searching for the meaning of life.
I also just
Okay.
thought that, like, she's more believable as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And more relatable as a character.
I think you could. I think it's a lot easier. Well, I think it's interesting that it's a lot easier to read the 12-year-old than it was to read the 54-year-old.
Yeah. I felt like the 54-year-old, I was just like, a lot of really big words and you don't like talking to people. And these are the things that you do to make yourself invisible to the people around you. Whereas with the 12-year-old, it was like, she's still trying to figure out the world, and she's not telling me that I am dumb, but she's telling me that she's hyper intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so apparently it's been published in 35 languages and 20 number 11. Did you see that? Bestseller in France, Spain, Germany, Italy, South Korea, and America, which is not a country, but that's okay.
It says here it may not have been made the bestseller list, but mine says over a year on the New York Times bestseller list.
Yeah, mine does too.
Oh
well,
yeah,
but it was a bestseller. Well, that was my little bit of commentary. It says bestseller in America, and I said America's not a country. At the end of the list of countries.
Yeah.
Then it says, yeah, in many other countries, it may have not made the bestseller list.
Mm-hmm.
Still in
yeah. So, why do people like it so much?
I really think it's because in a lot of ways, it makes philosophy accessible because it puts it in novel form.
Yeah.
And as somebody, like, I really, really love French film. Like, French film is some of my favorite. And it is very much in the same style. I haven't read a lot of French literature, but, like, what Jessica was saying about how, like, based on the French films I've seen, it's very French. But at the same time, I feel like it just, like, kind of forces it on you as opposed to just let you discover it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, I think, are they making it into a movie? I think it would be interesting as a movie.
I can Google it.
It is a movie. Yeah, 2011.
Oh, it is. So it's already a movie.
I wouldn't be opposed to watching the movie, but I just felt like the book was very forced. And I would have liked it more as short stories. But I think it's so popular because it makes it makes something more accessible. It makes people feel smart to be reading something that seems so smart. It's also accessible.
I did that as a kid. I read specific things to make myself look smarter than I actually was.
And it's probably marketed very well, also.
It says that it's what's that? The novel has reached millions of readers largely thanks to word of mouth. Interesting.
The reason I picked it up was because it had a hedgehog in the title, and I was sorely disappointed there was no hedgehog.
If it's true that that this book gets recommended a lot because people want to sound smart, that's kind of ironic because of the entire book. being about two people who don't want everyone to know how smart they are.
It's true.
Well, and I also think, just given when I was looking for discussion questions, I think a lot of book clubs read it because I found a lot of book club stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are a million things to talk about in it because she's just all over the place. So, I mean, it is a very good discussion book. I feel like it would be better if you, like, didn't talk about it at the very end, though, and you talked about it, like, almost chapterly. Like, you read 100 pages and then discussed those 100 pages and read it. But only because there's so many things discussed in each chapter that don't have to do with anything else that, like, it's hard to tackle the whole thing.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
Number 12 is interesting.
In a related question, the Elegance of the Hedgehog has been described as a book for readers, as opposed to a book for critics, reviewers, and professors. What do you think is meant by this? And if the idea is that a book pleases readers but not critics, do you think this could be true? If so, why?
That just seems weird to me. But I mean, when you think about a book that pleases readers but not critics, you think of something that's kind of like shallow and action driven, I would think.
Like,
you know?
Like Dan Brown, like Da Vinci Code. Or
yeah, right, exactly. People just like reading it for the action adventure, but there isn't a lot to like analyze and discuss and review.
Right. Well, and it's interesting too, as opposed to a book for critics, reviewers, and professors. It's like saying these people are not readers as well. Because
Right.
like a lot of reviewers are just, bibliophiles who
should understand this more than I do because I'm too dumb for some of this words. These words.
Yeah, I had to look some stuff up too, and I was like, really, I don't want to do this, and so I stopped doing it.
There was like, I don't remember where it was. There's like some like paragraph where I counted and there were 12 words I didn't know. I was like, how are there so many words I don't know in this book? I don't consider myself like someone who reads a lot of literature, but I definitely read more than like most of my friends. And to have like 12 words that I didn't know in a paragraph was very daunting to me.
Yeah, that's like defies the 5-finger rule. So there's this like the 5-finger rule is if you read the thing and you put your finger down each time you don't, like they use this with little kids. Every time you don't know a word, if by the end of the page all your fingers are down, that's probably not the right book for you vocabulary wise.
I mean, like a lot of them, like I had heard the word, but like. And contextually, I probably could have gotten it, but there were like 3 words in the sentence that like it was like I don't know the context anymore.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting that I don't know what the words and to choose words that probably the typical English reader would not know to capture the spirit of whatever the original French was.
Yeah.
So it's like they're making it accessible by putting it in English, but then they're making it inaccessible by making it very highbrow English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like completely irrelevant or like completely awful. I just felt like it could have been a lot more accessible to read in a different format or like broken up more.
Yeah.
I thought it, like I think like I would reread parts of the book, but the fact that it's such a whole that's so daunting, and not even daunting, but just like so arduous to get through that like it's just not worth the story to me.
I think I had a lot of trouble with I don't want to say it's, but I think it was the way the sentences and the paragraphs are put together. Like when I started reading before I got the audiobook, I just couldn't hear it. Like I could not get a voice for the character.
Yeah.
And if I don't have anything in my head as a voice, and I'm just reading words and it's making no sense.
That's why I downloaded the audiobook.
Yeah, that's why I went and got it from the library.
That's smart.
Yeah, convenient having a library around the corner.
I went into Audible, and it's been so long because I have like the subscription. I had like 6 credits, and I was like, well, might as well use one on this.
You just get from Overdrive at the library.
Okay. Any of the other questions?
These questions are the same as the book. They're like paragraphs.
Yes, they are.
For a really long time at the beginning, for like the first 50 pages or so, I thought that, and I know it's for that reason that you said, like, it's hard to get a voice. I thought that perhaps the little girl was like Renee. Like Paloma was Renee when she was little.
Mm.
Because they're like
I was really confused because in my mind, Renee is a boy name. Because here, every single student I've had named Renee has been male. So I was really confused because that was the context I was pulling from for quite some time until we got some pronouns. So anything?
Unprovided with original learning, unformed in the habits of thinking, unskilled in the arts of composition, I resolved to write this book. In one of the book's early chapters, Renee describes what it is like to be an autodidact. What are the advantages and disadvantages of being self-taught? I skipped the whole paragraph. How accurately does this describe sensations common to autodidacts? What are the advantages and disadvantages of being self-taught?
Which one are you looking at?
Sorry.
Okay. I had to look up that word.
I looked it up too, but I knew what it was. I was like, oh yeah, I did know that. And I should have probably gotten that from, like, the roots of the word.
Right.
But... And no matter how often I reread the same lines, they seem to flee further with each subsequent reading, and I see myself as some mad old fool who thinks her stomach is full because she's been attentively reading the menu.
That's when she was talking about reading phenomenology. Right?
Yeah. What does that mean? I kept forgetting to look up that one.
Phenomenology. You know what? I'm supposed to know this one. Phenomenology, the study of structures of consciousness as experienced from the first-person point of view. The central structure of an experience is its intentionality, it being directed towards something as it is an experience of or about some object.
That's why you can't remember what it means.
Yeah, that's exactly why I can't remember what it means.
She used that word like 12 times in one chapter, though.
Yeah.
I think that was the chapter, was like, I don't know what I'm reading.
Exactly.
Why doesn't it give me a page?
But yeah, she was talking about reading somebody, and she had to understand Kant before she could understand that person. I really, yeah. I feel like there was, I would have had to do a lot more extra reading to really appreciate this book.
Yeah. Yeah, like maybe if you're like a philosophy student in French film.
Yeah.
If you're a French philosophy student, I will recommend this to my one friend who is a French philosophy student.
There you go. Oh, I can't even. I found the guy's name, but I can't even attempt to pronounce it. Husserl. That's what she was reading.
Okay.
You,
I like the question, though. What are the advantages and disadvantages of being self-taught? That's an
Right.
accessible question.
Disadvantage is you don't have the opportunity to verbally process and explore deeper. But that's me being a teacher.
Yeah.
I teach myself lots of things. How to play the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think an advantage though is you can learn whatever you want. You don't have the limitations of any kind of institution saying this is what's important.
Yeah.
So, your thoughts?
What if you were self-taught in a group? Like, what if, like...
Then that's not self-taught. That's social constructivism.
You can talk about a group like everyone pursues their own interests, but then they can discuss them with each other.
Yeah. So, like, almost like homeschool versus, like, school. Like, homeschool small group versus homeschool individual versus
So again,
traditional schooling.
it's unstructured.
Oh, no, rain. Stop raining. What did you say, Jessica?
Sorry, your feed keeps cutting out for me. I said, again, it's a question of it's structured or unstructured if somebody else is telling you what to
Yeah, I have no idea what you're saying, Jessica, because Muriel's all loud over there.
Sorry.
Moving.
Sorry. It's starting to rain. I think I have to move inside really fast.
Oh, good idea.
Okay.
It was really sunny when I came out here. So now it's starting to rain very quickly.
Okay, well, you should go inside.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You can keep talking. I'm going to disconnect and come back.
Okay.
I was saying about homeschooling or traditional school or whatever, however large of a group you're talking about, you still have the question of, is it structured, somebody's telling you what to focus on, or is it something that you're pursuing your own interest? Yeah. And that's the disadvantage if you're pursuing your own interests, that you don't have the ability to talk and process with other people.
Right.
And that, I mean, it's interesting because that's kind of like with book clubs. Mm-hmm. You know, I like book clubs because I like being able to process what I read with other people, but then I have to read things that I may not necessarily want to read.
There's other things that don't really strike your fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that most people find a balance between like the social learning and the individual learning, so that they like maximize, well, people who want to learn things, they maximize their learning potential. Yeah. Like I like to learn things on my own. However, I also require structure to get anything done. So
right. Yep.
Or a deadline. It's like I have to have that review written by tomorrow, so I'm reading that book now. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't really have much else in terms of things to say about this book.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
Muriel, do you have anything else to say? No, I see this person. Oh, there you go.
Hey, did I miss a lot?
No.
Darn. Sorry, the one time I tried to do that outside, it like started pouring very quickly.
Hey, I know that poster. I've got it on my wall over there. um. So, final thoughts, Meryl?
I think I really enjoyed some parts of it, and other parts were not great. I really do think that I liked Paloma's parts a lot. There were like times when I was honestly like very amused and laughing, and I don't know why my computer always does this like you're in pitch black. But I really didn't enjoy Renee almost at all. And I think I would have liked the whole thing better in more of a short story format. It was just too all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're all quiet.
All I have to say is that I tried to warn you guys that you were but I own the book, so I want to finish one.
Eli, I texted Jessica a couple days ago, and I was like, this book is so pretentious, and all she said was, I tried to warn you. She's like, I can't do it, but I have to finish it because I'm stubborn.
I finished it this morning because I didn't want to show up and not having finished another book.
I felt that way too, so I've been like marathon reading it, but I just kept falling asleep, and then I'd wake up and not care.
Sounds right.
So I'll still finish it on audiobook, probably now.
3 times speed.
Yeah, 3 times speed. I mean, I was here this morning. So this is how much I had read this morning.
Wow.
And this is how much that I read today. And I woke up at 10.
Yeah.
And this is how much I have left. So
All right.
I only ruined like 2 days of my life.
Okay. So I've already got the numbers, which I'm gonna post here momentarily. So our September book that we'll discuss in October will either be Breakfast of Champions, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, which you put on the list, Meryl. I think Pam put Breakfast of Champions on, and the third choice is The Hiding Place. Who somebody named Faith put on, who I don't know who that is.
Can we tell Faith to come to the...
Well, I mean, we're gonna vote, right?
Yeah.
What is The Hiding Place? Do you know anything about it?
I know nothing about it. I can Google it really fast.
It's about, it's written by a woman who during the Holocaust, I think.
Okay.
But in, like, the Netherlands or somewhere. I don't remember exactly.
I started reading American Gods. Now I have conflicting feelings about Neil Gaiman, Jessica.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
And why do you have conflicting feelings about Neil Gaiman?
I feel like it's been very overrated. Like, I don't not enjoy reading it, but I feel like so many people were like, you will love this book. You should read this book. Neil Gaiman is so great. That, like, now I'm reading it, I'm like, it's enjoyable, but it's not blowing my mind.
Are you talking about The Ocean at the End of the Lane?
What?
You're talking about The Ocean at the End of the Lane?
No, I'm talking about American Gods. So I feel like maybe Ocean at the End of the Lane may be a better, I don't know. Once I read 2 Neil Gaiman books, I feel like I can assess it better.
See, and I've read Ocean at the End of the Lane, and I very much enjoyed it. One of my reading buddies also read it, and she hated it. And then she went on for like a month telling me how much she hated it. Because I said, you should read this. And yeah, so
I don't not like American Gods. I just feel like so many people told me that I would love it, and I don't love it, but I don't not like it.
Wait, but you're still reading it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't love it until the very end when everything came together, and I was like, this blew my mind.
Okay. Well,
Really?
I'll hang on then.
I'll have to give it another go. I tried it a couple of years ago, and I was like, eh.
To be honest, like, the person, it was like a few people had told me to read it, and then when Jessica told me I would like it, then I picked it up. So.
Well, thank you.
I usually like all of the books that you say I like, so.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. And I tried to warn you about the Elegance.
You did. And now I trust you like tenfold. It's just like whatever you tell me to read or not read. It's just so much for being an autodidact because Jessica can just direct my education. It's fine.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna shut this off.
Okay, good.
Bye.
We'll read